They have Odysseus, Ulysses, which is also known as Ulysses. So they have for many fighters. So they had a good name as compared to Romans. So when Roman, they got power, they made their own empire. No, Roman are interested to make their own national epic. They don't have any epic. They have many poets. They have poet now Homer. They have poet now Ovid. They have poet like Horace. Augustus Caesar wants that we should create our own epic, national epic. He hires now Virgil. Virgil was a poet. He says, why don't you write like Odyssey? Why don't you like Iliad? Write, I will give you money. Take money and write whatever I want. Make me hero. How this Roman kingdom was established. Write about this. So now Virgil, he took pen and he started writing. So let's see. Time 70 to 19 BC. Genre epic poetry. Character to known Ennius, Dido, Anchises, and Ascanius. Ascanius was a son of the Ennius. Ascanius was a son of the Ennius, and Anchises was the father of the Ennius. Venus was a mother of the Ennius. Juno, she was a goddess. She was not a goddess, she was a female, in fact, mortal female. But she was a wife of the Jupiter, who was a god. Hope you got the character. Character are very simple. Once again, I want to explain you. Here are some character you must remember. Ennius. Ennius is a protagonist. Dido, she was a beloved of Ennius. She fell in love with Ennius. When Ennius, he travels, because no, they lost war, and no, their goddesses, they give him a prophecy that you, Aeneas, move away from here, from this Troy land, because Troy is gonna burn. Everybody will die over there. You, Aeneas, you will found kingdom of Rome. We give you prophecy. We give you a forecasting. You are going to establish Roman Empire. You will establish, you will found it. You will lay the foundation of the Roman Empire. You should go from here and you should travel to somewhere else, and ultimately you will be cause of the Roman Empire. So now Virgil wants to explain how this Roman kingdom was found. So it is totally mythological. It's totally fictional. Don't take it a historical poem. It is not a historical. It is there is a touch of historical, but it is a mythological poem. It is a mythological poem, not historical poem. It has been written as sequel to the Odysseus. Like Odysseus, he takes journey and he traveled here and there and reached Ithaca, and he got his revenge from the suitors and rest of the people. They were occupying his land. Same way, this person named Aeneas. Aeneas belongs to Troy now. He belongs to Trojans. And now he's going to he's going to lay the foundations of the Roman Empire. He will be the cause of the Roman Empire. The God says, they are giving him predictions. You are going to lay the foundation of Roman Empire. You should go from here. Otherwise, you will be killed here. So here are some characters. I have told you character Aeneas. I have told you character Dido. She was a queen. She fell in love with Aeneas. She was a Phoenician queen. I will tell you the background of the Dido as well. Then there is Anchises. Anchises was the father of the Aeneas. Then there is Ascanius. Ascanius was a child of Aeneas. Venus was mother of. She was a god. She was a goddess, and she has got married with the male partner, mortal partner, Anchises. Anchises was a mortal, and she was a goddess. He's mortal. Humans are mortal. But goddesses are immortal. So one immortal in Greek, ancient Greek mythology, there is a one mortal who is marrying, who's getting married with, who's getting married, who's getting married to mortals, and immortal is being married, more immortals, and mortal to immortal, immortal to mortals. So this is what's going on that time. So I think it is totally mythological. Nothing can happen like that. It's just a fictional. But that time people had a belief. Some people go to some mountains, Cathrion Hills, and over there are some wine gods. So they are having a physical relation with the mortal females, and then there is a offspring of mixture offspring, and then the child belongs to mortal and immortal, fairy and the human being. So I think these are mythological stories. I hope you got the characters. Now we move forward for Aeneid.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yes, please.
So goddess Venus is the mother of Aeneas, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
And
sir, thank you.
okay, we'll see. So here, see political background. We'll see political background. Why Virgil writes this, poem, epic poem. What was the causes behind it, and why he was writing like that poem. We'll see historical background. What is historical background? Why he's writing? What for what purpose he's writing such like a poems? 12 books poem. Aeneid, and still this poem is older than Bible as well. So because it is written before Bible, after Bible comes, so that is why we can say that is older than Bible as well. Then there is a literary background. We'll see literary background. Definitely before that there was Odyssey, there was a Iliad. So Odyssey and Iliad, Odyssey is a sequel to Iliad, because it was written after Iliad's fight, after the Troy fight. In Iliad, we find the Spartan Trojan fight. So, as the fight ended after 10 years, Odysseus' journey started. And now, this journey is just like it looks. There is another journey from the Romans. So, Roman person name of this person is Aeneas. No, Aeneas will take start journey. So how he will start journey, where he will go, where he will fight, and what he will achieve at the end of this journey, we will discuss in the Aeneid by Virgil. I hope you will understand by associating with the previous story, because they are interrelated with each other. So then there is a literary background. We'll see his there is a mythological background. Mythological background means there are some myths related to the stories. Myth like some goddesses. Male is having a physical relation with the supernatural element. Supernatural is having physical relation with the mortal being, and then they are producing childrens, and these childrens are further fighting. So the people, the children, they are begotten by mortal and immortal being. They are very powerful, because they are having characteristic of the immortal being and mortal being. And these creature, they are very powerful, because they are enjoying the characteristic of a male and the supernatural element. So let's see. First of all, I would like to explain you what is a dactylic hexameter. So let's see. Okay, do you have any idea about pentameter, hexameter, and monometers? Like what is meter according to you?
It's music.
Meter mean
Internal.
musical up and down when you are playing something, when you're singing something, up and down. Shall I compare thee to the summer day? Shall I compare thee to the summer day? When there is a rhythm, didum, didum, didum. I can write for you so that you can understand. So let's see. We are going to create iambic pentameter. Meter mean rhythm in a poetical language. In poetical language, when you have a rhythm, it is called metrical language as well. When you involve meters, so meter can be mono, single. Then there will be, dimeter, trimeter, hexameter, pentameters. So these are the meters. But there is also combinations of sometime unstress and stress. When we create meter unstress and stress, it will create iambic meter. When we say dactylic mean there is a one stress and double unstress. Dactylic mean there is a one stress and then unstress. But iamb mean one unstress and other stress. D dum, D dum, D dum, D dum, D dum. If we have a round about 5, it will be known as okay, let's see. I want to teach you over here. So here you can say dum DD, dum DD. So here we have dactylic. Dactylic hexameter. Hexa means 6. Hexa means 6. So you can count over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexa mean 6. So D dum DD, dum DD, dum DD, dum DD, dum DD, dum DD, dum DD. Dum, you can see stress over here. Stress. I will denote it with S. So dum stress and D are unstress. This is dactylic. Dactylic mean in dactylic hexameter or in dactylic there will be one stress and double unstress. But in iamb there will be unstress and stress. I hope you understand. Syllable. Do you know what is syllable? Syllables. If you don't know syllable. What is syllable?
A word like
no.
A food. Like, I'm not sure, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, I write. You can write it. SY syllable. SYLAB SYLLABLE. Syllable. Syllable mean when a unit of sound which has at least one vowel sound in it. Please write down. A unit of sound that has at least one vowel sound in it. It is called syllable. Please write it down. It will be very easy to learn syllable because it has its own assignment, but I will teach you over here. Syllable, a unit of sound that has at least one vowel sound in it. I will give you example. There will be monosyllable. There will be trisyllable. There will be disyllable. There will be multisyllable. There will be monosyllable. There will be disyllable. There will be trisyllable. There will be multisyllable. In English language, you find simplification. Simplification. How many sound? How many chest pulse? How many sounds? So just if you want to check how many syllables in the word, just put your hand in your chin, under your chin, and say thar, met. So you can count how many times your mouth is just opening and closing. How many times you are opening and closing your mouth. These are the syllables in a word. Thar, met. Please check it. How many syllables are in permit? P-E-R-M-I-T.
Just one.
P,
No,
P,
two.
P-E-R per M-I-T. So please check, put your hand under your chin and speak, permit, permit, permit. So 2 times your mouth is being opened and closed. Hope you got the point. So here is one syllable, this one and this one. Here is one vowel sound and here is one vowel sound. Just remember definition. You will never forget. Rifna, you will never forget if you remember my definition. A unit of sound that has at least one vowel sound in it. You will focus on vowel sound, not word, not morpheme. You will focus on word. You will focus on sound. So permit. So there is a one vowel sound in per and the second vowel sound in mit. Permit. Hope you got the point. So this is one syllable and that is another syllable. These are going to create meter. When they are combined, they will create meter. You can either stress on per or you give stress on mit. Once you give stress on permit. When you give stress on per, it will be noun. Once you give stress on permitted, it will be verb. So with stress, you can change meaning. One time it is a noun and second time it can be verb as well. So when you give stress on this part of the word, it will be noun. Once you give stress on this, it will be verb. One word giving two meaning, giving two part of speech. Hope you got the point. Simplification. How many vowel sounds you have to recognize now. How many vowel sounds are in simplification? So let's find it. It's a multi-syllable. Sim, one, pli, ka, sh, kashan. So how many? Sim, pli, ka, sh, shan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is a 5 syllable. How many? 5 syllable. It will be known as multi-syllable. Hope you got the point. So I have taught you about syllables because once you get the knowledge of syllables, then you can move forward towards hexameter, pentameter, and other monometers like that. That will be easy to teach you. Mono means single, di mean 2, tri mean 3. So hepta and hexa and like that, penta and hexa. Penta mean 5. So like these are meters, various meter. You can either create monometer, or if there will be monometer, it means it will be single. If it will be di, it will be 2. So let's see now. Dactylic hexameter.